It's happening. Shit's getting real. This is Sophia Musto, and I am so excited to have you here to share my stories with you because life is full of flavor. The purpose of the Zensetter podcast is storytelling, and I want to hear your story, and thank you for listening to mine. You're going to meet so many amazing friends along the way, so thanks for being here. Namaste and hairspray. Welcome back to the Zensetter podcast. Jamie, thank you so much today for coming here and spending your morning with me. I'm so grateful for you in so many ways.
I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for having me. This is I love this podcast. It's awesome. It's so good.
Aww. It's like, I can't say my business is my baby because you taught me that, but this is like my little fur baby. It's like my puppy that you've watched. It's like my little fur baby. I'll do it like that you kind of watched me from the start try to create. But before we get into that, I want you to introduce yourself.
Sure. So my name is Jamie C. I am a 3-time business owner. I have a salon in Cheshire, Connecticut. I have an education company for hairstylists and entrepreneurs in the beauty industry. And I also have a spiritual coaching manifesting business for mompreneurs, for people who want to unlock their power within and be able to call in more and become in alignment with the universe, God, divine, and be able to just make life so much more beautiful. And I'm also a mom of 2 girls. I got Charlotte Scott and Lily Wolf, and my husband Nick, who is my equally weird other half, and I couldn't do any of the things that I've done without him. So that's a little bit about me.
I've loved getting to meet your family, like, and see them, and just to see who you are. I'm very fortunate that I got to work with you one-on-one because being a hairstylist, our ships were like in sync. We were in the sea together, but then we finally like aborted each other's ships, which is really cool. And I'm really excited.
That was a good one.
Well, when I hired you, I literally felt like I was in the Titanic holding onto the log, letting go. I was saying, like, Jack, you hop on the log, I'm going into the sea. And then I found Jamie C, who helped rescue my soul.
Thank you.
So what made you decide from hairdresser to salon owner that you were now going to step into this kind of coaching? Like, how did you get into that?
That's a great question. So I think it's important to know a little bit about my interests previous to hair, which was science and quantum physics. And I've always been really, really interested in how things work. I think it's really important for me to understand, like, if I really truly want to believe in something, I have to understand the functionality of it and how it works. But it really got enhanced with like needing to know a little bit more about like the universe and like what was beyond us or what we were all created by when my brother passed away. And I needed to know that he still existed in some way. So my faith and searching for kind of an answer in the depths of grief really brought me here. I think because I realized that the human physical form is this temporary existence, but these people kept saying like, oh, but your spirit goes on, your soul goes on. I'm like, what the fuck is that made of? I don't get it. Like, I don't understand how that works. So then I went on this, like, I was reading books nonstop. I was researching. And then I was like, well, how come like mediums can connect with people who have passed on? How does that work? And then I understood energy and I understood kind of the connection of the body and the mind and how it all works. And I created my own huge transformation from eating disorder to anxiety, from being broke to low self-worth, to completely transforming my mind. And then in turn, being able to connect with the universal support that I now help people get in connection with. So I think that's really how I got connected. And it's honestly not that I don't, I love what I do for my hair businesses, but this is deeper kind of fulfillment. It's a sense of purpose, of healing and helping on an internal level that then shows externally, versus like in the hair world, you're teaching people a skill and how to grow their business, which is external. And so I think the two worlds combining are actually really powerful.
So true. It's so true. Because
Yeah.
I've always felt like all hairdressers are healers a little bit and helpers. And
Yeah.
that's really interesting how you said that you wanted to learn about psychic mediums.
Mhm.
Because when I was in beauty school, I talked about this on an episode. My high school boyfriend, he killed his brother drinking and driving, and I had to wake up his family and tell them and drive them to see. And I watched the grief process, but I just kind of like didn't do anything. I just felt like I needed to numb myself. That's how I went into survival mode. And they got really into psychic mediums. And I was really like, how does this work? But you're really good at asking these questions. You get deep into these questions. That
Mhm.
must be heavy for you sometimes. Listening to all this grief.
It is heavy, but it's necessary. I think it's just part of the human experience to experience joy and pain and sorrow, but radiance and brilliance all in the same moment. And I think the thing is I am able to protect myself energetically from receiving this information and not letting it affect my own energy, which is something I learned how to do. I didn't know how to do that. And specifically for hairstylists, this is a really big concern because they're, especially during the pandemic and kind of like coming out of a pandemic. We're still in it, but kind of on the light at the end of the tunnel. There's a lot of heavy conversations that are happening behind the chair, a lot of people venting to us, and they don't necessarily have kind of the whereabouts to be like, oh, well, maybe this person can't necessarily hold space for me right now, but I dump on them anyway. And it's not just one client a day, it's like up to 10, up to 12. Sometimes people are double booking and they're seeing 15 people a day. And that's a lot of personality, a lot of energy, a lot of conversation. So being able to protect your energy allows you to be able to kind of hold space for somebody and not let it directly affect you or derail you in any kind of way, but just to be a support for that person.
And you have the best tips for that. I still put my hands under ice water when I feel that I need to like reset. And I actually just told somebody about that the other day. So how did you learn how to do these tricks? Like, was it through like college or was it through your own learning, a mentor? How did you learn this?
It's a mixture of things. I went to school, I got certified in neurolinguistics programming, success coaching, and hypnosis. And I also have been studying under a whole bunch of mentors. So I've invested a ton, I think close to now like $10,000 in online education of just being able to expand my mind and help serve people deeper. And I'm only at the tip of the iceberg. I feel like there's so much more to learn, but it doesn't stop me from already helping people. I think that's where a lot of people stop, is like they feel as though they need to know everything. And it's like, I already know how to help people and I'll just continue to help them a little bit deeper when I learn more. But I've read a ton of books, listen to podcasts all the time, YouTube videos, studying under mentors, and kind of revisiting my schooling has always been beneficial. So that's kind of how I got into this.
Yeah, I think that's so cool because you went the opposite way. Like now I kind of want to do more school. I went right into hair. I went right into hair school. Like I'm encouraging my daughter right now to go into a vocational school because she's in 8th grade. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I would go in there and I want to teach like mindset to these young kids because no one is teaching that. No one is saying that you're not responsible for Sally Joe's divorce and her husband having the affair. Like that's heavy to hear every 4 weeks. Like I'm just using a name out there. And it's heavy when that client wants to yell and project that feeling onto you and say, you're not worthy, you're not educated, your skill isn't, anybody could do this. That kind of conversation wears on people. So I kind of want to elevate people. And years of that has made me kind of like feel like an imposter in my life. And that was like one of my aha moments with you is you taught me not to be that imposter. And
Mhm.
it's so easy for you to see it. And now I like look back and I'm like, wow, I can see it in others. And now I see how much I could grow so much. But I think it's incredible that you get out there and automatically start teaching people. I love that. What you have taught me is incredible and has been life changing, not only for me, but my husband. And it's encouraged me to like really be in that top 1%. And what do I need to do to get there? So tell me what's in the future for Rising Wolf and where your dreams, I know you have some big dreams out there.
Mhm. Oh, it's really big.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Share all the deets. So my biggest mission is to help as many people as I can. Um, and with that being said, that comes with a lot of planning and a lot of, I don't want to say hustling because that's not, I don't believe in any toxic hustling. I'm a very much in the flow kind of person. And so for Rising Wolf, I'm working on a year-long program, which is like, I don't like to use the word school. We're going to call it an academy, to help people truly transform their lives. There'll be other really amazing people inside of that course. And on top of that, I'm actually in the process of writing my book. And I have some really like the visions keep popping up of stage stuff. So getting people together, like big groups of people. Honestly, I get these like universal downloads of like, it's a very clear image. And I don't know when it's going to happen or how, but I'm allowing that opportunity to kind of present itself when it's ready. I just really believe in the divine timing of getting the right people in a room and making a really big impact. So I'm not quite sure what that looks like, but
You're going to do it. I believe in it. It's
I know it'll
amazing.
happen. I just don't know when or what that
That's
looks like.
awesome.
Yeah, really excited.
That's so exciting. I'm totally going to be a part of that in some way, shape, or form. I can promise you that.
Yes, you're like, yes.
Because it's like a ripple in the water. And when I every morning I look at the water every single morning and I wake up in gratitude, and you are on the top of that list. I can promise you, like, I send it to your family, and just for them to know how lucky they are to have your sweet soul in their life. And anybody that talks to you or listens to your podcast or reads from your heart, like, knowing you and like learning from you one on one, I can truly attest that what you see, hear, and read is 100% Jamie all the time, all the time. And I'm so lucky that I get to meet you in the most magical vortex in the world in 1 month from today.
I'm
One
so
month.
fucking excited.
So fucking excited. Like I was having like visualizations of me just running and hugging you with the pretty mountains in the background.
The slow-mo, like I see you and I'm like running.
I'm gonna be a crying mess. I was like, I don't need to buy makeup for this trip because it's gonna be all over my face. I'm not wearing any of it. And I was thinking I should lip sync with Jamie. We should do a duet for the lip sync battle.
Yes, 100%.
Because you would be so fun to do that with.
Funny. I love that.
Because you taught me how to get into that childlike. And that is something that I do every morning. And people probably think I'm the biggest idiot and I don't give a shit. But every morning I get out and I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and I get dressed and I thank my legs and I thank my feet and I thank the universe that I could buy new shoes to put on my feet, that I'm not in that old mindset. Like, I just have so much gratitude for every little thing. And when I get on the trail, I hop and skip, and now I lip sing because I practice that I'm singing in front of everybody, because the old Sophia would never even attempt to do something like that. She would let fear rule, and you unlock that potential in people.
It's the best gift that we can give, is to allow ourselves to experience this one life in the most beautiful way possible. And I always, I think I had said this to you too in the very beginning, like when you are on your deathbed and you look back at your life, are you going to say, I wish I had done more? Or are you going to say, that was a fucking good ride? I did everything. I'm like getting super emotional because it's like sometimes you forget day to day that like, this is all we have. Like, we have one shot, like one chance. And even getting to like the end of the road, like at an old age is not guaranteed. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
So true.
life is so beautiful if you allow it to be. And of course, there's going to be pain and struggle. And I mean, that's part of the human experience, is experiencing all things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But joy is on the top of the list. On the
Mm-hmm.
top of the list, for sure.
And one of the other greatest tools you taught was everything doesn't have to be good or bad. It can just be neutral. And I swear I hear that in my head in your voice. I do. Like I was just telling Jamie before the call, like my family, we're packed up. We have our golden retriever puppy in the car. The kids are in a truck and we're sitting in traffic and I'm bitching to my husband about something so stupid. And we get rear-ended by one car and then by a second car at a complete stop. And I look up and I'm like, is everybody okay? And I just stayed really calm. And it wasn't the end of the world. Everybody was safe. Nobody was hurt. I mean, there were 9 people involved in this. Like, I think it was a lot of people. And everybody got to drive away. Everybody was safe. And it could have been really bad. And then my daughter looks and goes, well, I just want to know who won the fight. And I was like, what? She goes, well, you and dad were fighting. And I thought he slammed one of the brakes. And it's like, go back to that child. It was so silly to go back. And it's like, how can we reframe this? And what are we thankful for? And that was just a lack of communication and a teaching moment, because life isn't perfect, but you just keep getting on and rolling. So you just went on vacation with your family and unplugged. Now, is it easy for you to go and unplug since you're not in that hustle like mentality?
Oh, yeah. I love vacation so much. I'm actually leaving again on Friday for another vacation. This year,
Yes.
our vacations actually like kind of like sandwiched each other. So I am closing on my house this week. So that chapter, my older home, that chapter will be completely done. I can like fully step into like living in this dream house that I was able to build, and so boggles my mind. And then we leave on Friday for North Carolina for a 16-hour trip. Send
You're
love.
driving by me. You're driving by me. You're driving by me.
Yeah, you ride with those 2 kids in the back, man. Woo!
Well, when you come to like the Aberdeen Bel Air exit, get off and I'll meet you and bring yummy food. Yes. Because people don't realize it, but when they start traveling, I get these random DMs. They're like, wait a minute, is this where you live? I'm like, I live right off that exit. Yeah. And they're like, oh my God, that's so incredible. What an experience. A journey.
Yeah. We're just renting a house we go every other year actually. So it's my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, mother-in-law, father-in-law. They have 2 kids that are the same age as my 2 girls, 7 and 3, which is great. Well, a little bit younger, but just around the same age where they can co-play all of it, and it's great. But we rent a house on the beach and we just sit and do nothing.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
Sounds amazing.
I have a great time vacationing. I actually, when I used to be, I don't want to say that I was toxic hustling before all the mindset work, but I was always in my head thinking about work. Like, so when I'd unplug and my phone wouldn't be near me, like I'd still be plugged in my head, if that makes sense. Like I was constantly thinking about it. I'm like, something's not right. And so, like I said, that was part of the biggest transformation for me, was like releasing all expectations, like allowing other people to help me grow, allowing other people to step in, and really trusting that everything is on its way, and healing my money story, healing it all.
That course is amazing. I'm so thankful. Can you tell the listeners about your course real quick? Because I am in it for the 2nd year in a row, and I am so proud to be in that, because it's amazing.
That was a big labor of love. That was like the biggest course that I never put together. So it's called The Magic of Money Making. So this is specifically for hairstylists that are independent stylists, salon owners. It also is beneficial for commission stylists or hourly, because it helps you rebuild your relationship with self-worth and receiving and manifestation and talking about money money and being able to like really have those comfortable conversations, or at least open up the door for you to have those comfortable conversations. I created that course actually because when I went out on my own as an independent stylist, I didn't know what I was charging. I'm full transparent, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I didn't know how to charge. I didn't know what to charge. And I basically created my pricing based off of what somebody was charging down the street, and had no idea that that was like right or wrong or nothing or like neutral, whatever. I just did it. But I also didn't do my numbers right. I felt so guilty charging every single time. The thought of charging above $180 sent a visceral nervous system response to happen. Like I was in full blown panic. I was like, just get out the door. I don't want to do this anymore. So I was having a conversation with somebody, and they ended up saying, oh yeah, I feel the same way. And it was this light bulb moment. They're like, oh my God, you're not the only person that is experiencing this, because I thought that there was something wrong with me because no one was having the conversation. So you're just assuming that everyone knows what they're doing except for you. And so once I rebuilt my money story and really learned how to fall in love with numbers and what money was, and bringing in the soul work and energy work together, created that. The Magic of Money Making, which is a 5-week course on that. So.
And you didn't learn any of this in college. This was all just after hair school.
None
That's
of
amazing.
I never went to college. I didn't. I went from high school to cosmetology school. And so interestingly enough, my parents did want me to go to college, but I declined. I said, no, because I loved doing hair. I loved it. I was that girl in high school who was like doing my own highlights in the bathroom and doing everyone else's hair, and like cutting my boyfriend's sister's hair in the bathroom. And it was so fun. And so my parents just, especially my mom, I got to cut my dad out of that equation. So my mom had this like stigma that was like, that's not what smart women do.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what smart women go to college. And I was like, coming from my parents never went to college. So they were like, you have to break the mold. So I broke it in a different way.
And look at you. You're changing women's lives daily.
Yeah.
People write me messages about me from just being on your podcast and what you did for me, just listening. And I say, she's worth it. Every single penny, you're worth it plus more, because it's an investment that you make in yourself. And you have a gift, and that's why you receive the gift back, because that's the law of balance. You're giving and you deserve what you're receiving. Because it's like, if you weren't doing this, I can't imagine how my life would be so different. I can't imagine what my life would be like if I didn't meet you. I wouldn't be doing hair. I can tell you that. I would not have renewed my lease. I would not be doing this podcast right now. I might not even be in my marriage, because when you are in that low vibration, that's all you are attracting. And that's all I could see. And now that I kind of zipped myself out of it and looked down into it, I can understand why. Mm-hmm. And now it's easier to be a listener than to just react to somebody's hurt and rejection and anxiety, because that's the identity that they want to wear. And I can't change that. But I also don't have to stand for excuse-itis. Like, there's one thing that drives me crazy that I've learned recently is that when you can't do something, just say you can't. Sending somebody paragraphs as to the reason why, explaining yourself just is bullshit.
Yeah.
You just got to own it.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing for anyone listening, hi, by the way. Hi, by the way. I think sometimes people, I don't want to generalize. I don't like to say people. Some humans don't quite understand that there's actually another way of thinking. They're just so used to the way that they're experiencing life and thinking that they don't know that things can change. And also, if you're surrounding yourself with people who are very similar to you, thinking the same way, you don't even think it's possible for you. So you see all these other people, like you'll be scrolling through Instagram, and then, or you'll hear your story of, I've completely changed my mind. I've changed my life. And that person immediately, their brain will call bullshit. They'll be like, all right, well, good for you. That's not like, oh, that could never happen for me. Like they immediately their brain will delete and distort that information because it's outside of their belief system of what is possible. So it's so important just to dip your toe into understanding how how it's possible, and to really do an energy audit of like, are the people that I'm surrounding myself with actually allowing me to think differently?
Right.
So yeah, it's a big, I mean, you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with.
Right.
So
And would you want to trade places with them?
mhm.
Like I would want to trade places with you, building my dream house, spending time with my family, vacationing with my family, unplugging with my family.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that if it was toxic. I wouldn't want to do that
Mhm.
if it wasn't my dream. But I also don't want to be in a situation where somebody's like, this is the way, the only way, and you have to be in my way. And I'm going to argue until you think my way. Like that is not a space that I choose to be in.
Yeah.
Nor do I choose to listen to somebody tell me how this is bullshit because you didn't get a degree or whatever. A hairdresser is not equivalent to a lawyer. That's your story, not mine. And it's incorrect. It's a story that you were told, and it's demeaning. I mean, it's like me saying to somebody, well, you can't own your own business. You're only going to work for somebody the rest of your life. Like, how would that point of view feel if somebody was pointing that out to you? Like, you don't run the company, you work for somebody. Like,
Mhm.
everybody has their own path. But if you're truly happy, you you know, because you're not overeating, you're not over drinking, you're not over binging Netflix, you're not overspending money. You can really see happiness by looking at a blade of grass and looking at the sunset and seeing that there is divine like gratitude in just the simplest things. Like listening to the ducks and the geese fly over me in the morning is the most heavenly sound to start my day. Not listening to a TikTok song is the way to start my day. But I mean, I was in a vicious cycle of nobody kind of helping me pull out of it.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. So
I'm so happy for you, honestly, because I mean, you truly hope that what you are teaching your students or your clients, that they're going to implement it. So give yourself a big round of applause, because I mean, I could talk to you till I'm blue in the face, but you are responsible for taking that information and allowing it to affect you and allowing your consistency to show up. So we're kind of co-creating. It's not just like I'm here to change your life and like you just have to sit there and wait for it to happen, right? Like you are an active participant in changing your life as much as I'm here to support you.
thank
Um,
you.
so I think it's important for anyone who's looking to hire a mindset coach or a manifestation coach or someone to help them align with kind of effortless business success, which is what I focus on for mompreneurs. It's is being able to know that you can commit and that you've made the choice, because that's the number one thing that people don't make. Because if you're
Yeah.
like, if you're like this, you're like I'm kind of in, I'm kind of out, I don't know, you're not going to get the results that you could.
No. I made a dream board last year and everything on that dream board came true. I can't believe it. I'm sorry, I made it in 2019. And in that 2 years, every single thing, I'll have to post a picture of it. Every single thing. I will. I'll send it to you later. It's amazing. Like I wanted to eat healthy. I wanted to have healthy relationships. I wanted to own new furniture because I have when my husband and I got married, we just got married in the courthouse. Like I never had a bachelorette party. I never had a bridal shower. I never had a wedding party. So I never got dishes and things. But like I always kind of had like an envy to people like, oh, it was easy for you because it was given to you. But now on the other side of the street where I'm like, I earned this shit. I created this. I worked hard for it. And I didn't do it the way that everybody says it needs to be done. And it happened. And in 2 years, I can't believe what I created. I can't imagine what. So now my dream board is going to be really big, really big.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see the
Yes.
dream board. I got some big ones too. I'm
Yeah.
really
I can't wait to see yours.
I'm so
Oh my
excited.
gosh. No, you have to add that to your academy, just a dream board workshop where everybody gets together and does it.
Yes.
Because I feel like when we are in these courses, to
Mhm.
me, I love it when I meet people that are like me that want to just put their toe in and keep walking up to their knee. They don't care how cold that water is. They want to get wet. They
Yeah.
want to see the changes. They want to do the work. The people that are like, I signed up for this course a year ago and I think I'm going to try it now. Like, that's the kind of person where I
No.
just feel like
Oh,
I,
you're in or you're out.
yeah, like if you're not in, let somebody else take the seat. Like,
Yes.
don't,
Yes.
like, that's how,
Scary. Like, of course, you're going to have that fear. Of course, you're going to have the nervousness. But the second you start committing yourself to something, your brain changes faster than you can imagine. Like, it really can. And a shift, a really, really big shift can happen literally instantly. Like, all of a sudden, it's like you just need to see it differently. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, fuck.
yeah,
I didn't even think I didn't even know I could think of it that way. And all of a sudden, a thought that you've had that was so toxic and destructive to your life, all of a sudden seems very possible and beautiful. Like, it really depends. It's like changing your language, changing your environment, changing the people you're with, changing just your habitual behaviors.
yeah,
People's habits are the creator of your existence. So
yes. And they
important.
don't even realize they're doing it. That's why it's important to like really self audit your day, because people say, I don't have time. I can't invest. I don't have the money.
I call bullshit.
I know, Boots.
I got
I
three
know it's
businesses, two
bullshit.
kids, a dog, and I still have to have a life after outside of all of that too. So if I can make time, I think everyone can make time.
Correct. I 100%. And like when people start saying that to me, I'm just like, you're telling yourself that story that you don't have time. So no matter what I say to you, it's just going to be an argument. You don't
Yeah.
have time. But I have 3 kids, a job, and
What they're really saying is I'm choosing not to make time
yeah.
because
Yeah.
everything is a choice. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of times we forget how much power that we hold over everything, that we are the main character in our lives. Like, we have so much power to change our lives, change how we think, change how we look, change how we behave, change our relationships, change everything we want. We just have to say yes
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
start.
Yes.
Just
That's
start.
why you are, that's why you were born to be a light. You were
Thank
born to
you,
be a
baby.
light. I know. And you helped me shine. And I'm so grateful for that. You were here to guide me, to remind me of my soul purpose, to get that noise that's been in the background away. And you bring out your intercom system like, hello, what did I tell you? Is really the truth. I mean, truly, I mean, I like when I walk, I like circumstances when I reevaluate a situation, because it doesn't just magically disappear. Like my old self is still there. That old reactionary self is still there where I want to say, well, fuck you too. And I just don't. Instead, I go, wow, that person's hurting. What am I not seeing that's on the other side behind the scenes that they're trying to be strong and it's coming out as this projection? Like that would never even run through my head a year ago. So I move on quickly. It doesn't mean that I'm not human, where I'm like, give me a second to get into nature and like realize that, like, because you taught me to not say my anxiety, to not give ownership to that word, because anxiety is a feeling that I can control and I can figure out where it comes from and if I like it and if I don't, and then re-navigate that choice versus as saying, I have anxiety, this is going to be me, because that's not my story.
Mhm.
I'm meant to be the light. I'm meant to shine. And that hard circumstance was to teach me something to help somebody else. And now I know that more than ever. I know it more than ever, because those crazy stories are what made me who I am. And if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be empathetic to somebody else where I'm like, okay, yeah, I can totally relate. You taught me that being myself is a sacred gift. And you taught me that in time, if I made the changes and it was slow, I would really see it. Just like if I planted a little seed, like a flower, it
Mhm.
would grow. And the vines are getting stronger and stronger every day. So
Yes.
thank you.
You're
So
so welcome.
if you were looking for somebody to coach you and you want to think outside of the box and get to the scientific route with tapping and hypnosis, how can everyone find you, Jamie?
So you can find me on Instagram at Rising Wolf Coaching. You can also go to my website, therisingwolf.com. You can DM, you can go into the link in my bio, and there's a whole bunch of resources there. Yeah, you can also find me at Pretty Little Ombre. If you're a hairstylist, you might be familiar with the work that I do for the community there. And if you're interested in coaching, you can direct message me there as well.
And when will you be opening up the magic of money making again?
So we are in the middle of, we're on week 3 right now, or week 4 rather. So we have 2 more coaching sessions left, and then I have a 3-month gap between that. So it will probably re-release in later fall time.
So if you're looking to make a change in your money mindset and really see where the root of your money feeling comes from, I highly, highly recommend this course. But I highly recommend you invest and do the work. If you don't waste your time, because it's not going to magically just happen if you pay the price. You got to do the work.
True. Got to do the work. Allow it to be fun.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Jamie C. Is there anything that you want the listeners to hear from you before we say goodbye?
Yes, I do. Of course, I always have something I want to say. So I would say today, if you just want to start with something, just sit still and do 5 minutes of quiet, like even a minute. Just close your eyes, do some deep breathing. So you're going to notice the thoughts rolling around. You're going to notice how busy your thoughts are. And that's just a slight introduction to like allowing yourself some awareness of your thoughts, awareness of how things work upstairs. But when you're busy all the time, you're never going to be able to really step into your thought process, which is the first step, is just awareness. So today, take a couple minutes, just sit there, close your eyes, and listen to the things that roll around. Don't give them meaning. Don't give them a ton of attention. Just allow them to flow, and just do a little bit of an audit of what's happening upstairs and start
there. So good. And I always, oh God, that's so good. That's what I do on my walks. I audit it and I'm like, ooh, I didn't even know that was happening on up there. It's amazing when you tune in.
All this time, that wasn't me talking. It's just thoughts. They're not actually me. It's pretty wild. But
yes, it's very wild. Yes. I pulled a card for the listeners and you today, and you're going to die when you see it. It's your tattoo.
I pulled a tattoo. Look at me. I was shuffling while we both have the card.
Yes. Well, I dropped one, but this one I have to show you first because it's your tattoo.
Oh, look at that.
And didn't you get that when we first started? Mm-hmm. I thought so. Oh, the card says, I am whole. And if that isn't a sign from the universe that Jamie C., I am whole because of you and your teachings and what you are doing for mompreneurs out there who put themselves last and don't realize their worth and don't realize like their superpower and the warrior inside. I am whole because of you and because of your listening and teaching and the reframing of my thinking. The card that fell out says, I have no expectations and I make no assumptions.
Oh, brilliant.
So yeah. So what did you pick? Let's see what goes on the
coming together. Hands and the yin and the yang. So this is, and it's beautiful because it's like a union of like, I always think it's just like the co-creation of love and the universe and God and divine and friendships and people. And it's just like, it's all coming together the way it's supposed to.
It's so funny that you just said that, because this morning, my download on my walk was when I was young and in beauty school and was on my own, like so poor, I used to sit and visualize that I was going to be on The Real World or I was going to be on Big Brother. And that's how I was going to really meet my people and that they were going to be my friends. now we fast forward into like this new age with technology. It's like I am living my life like Big Brother in the real world with my friends, and it's coming together so beautifully, just like I imagined.
Yes, 100%. So good. So good.
Oh, no. Oh, well, thank you so much. And namaste and hairspray.